Our subject today, a journey to see a modern-day yogi, practicing the yoga of Bhagavad Gita. We're going to take you live to footage that was shot in Northern California as we followed instructions how to reach this yogi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. We are literally on the trail of a yogi in Napa Valley, California. We've been directed to a site where a yogi has chosen to live in seclusion, not in a cave, but in a small hut. And so we're following the trail. You can see this beautiful valley in which he's chosen to base himself on the secret trail that we've been directed up. And so our instructions are to look for a big redwood tree. And then as we come around the redwood tree, we should see his hut. And so I don't see any redwoods yet, but we may be up in this shaded area. As you can see, it looks like there are some redwoods up there. I think just as we come around this bend, we may be finding the yogi. There it is. Our instruction is not to knock. We're only to say Om, and that will open the door. Om. Om Namo Bhagavate. Namaste, Yogi Sir. Will you kindly consent to an interview? Yes, let us go to your studio. We'll be back after this break. We're back. Thank you for being with us. As noted, the yogi consented to join us in a remote studio where we have linked him by live footage so we can ask him some questions. Yogi Sir, I am quite struck by the physical similarity between you, your face, your body, and mine. I almost feel like, I don't want to be disrespectful and say that you look like me. I could say I look like you. Ah, perfect, yes. What you are seeing is a reflection of unity. We inhabit different forms, but you and I are one. All are one. All are same. Perhaps we could stop right there. Yogi, as we were coming down the hill speaking, you mentioned the practice of swadhyaya and contemplation. Can you tell us about that and give an example of contemplation and how, as I was asking, how does it differ from what's thinking? How is contemplation different than thinking or reading, for example? There is a difference between thinking and examining and analyzing and considering and contemplating. Okay, these are we're giving names to different stages or levels or depths of immersion in the scripture and the power, the force of the Bhagavad Gita. Thinking is helpful, but thinking only goes so far. It's really, the yogi needs to reach the state of immersion, really immerse oneself in the vibration that Lord Krishna is emanating. Every day, I pick a verse from Gita, I write the verse down, and I keep it in my pocket. And throughout the day, that's the verse I run through that verse in my mind. And there are sometimes periods of time in the day when I sit, or I'm more likely when I'm moving, when I'm walking or hiking, when I specifically focus on the swadhyaya, the self-study. And however, other times, this has become a reflex almost, the swadhyaya, the repetition and contemplation on the verse has become a reflex where now, and it's not just now, it came a long time ago, but after a period it came. Anytime the mind finds an idle moment, like if I step up to do the dishes, or I've used the restroom and I'm washing my hands, or I'm brushing my teeth, anytime you have those transitional moments from one thing to the next, and there's a mental space there when something else may come, a thought, now it's a reflex to come to the verse and repeat the verse. And even if a profound realization doesn't come during that moment, it's great to be considering Gita and thinking of Gita, because every verse of Gita, every word of Gita brings one into within, brings one, or how should we say, brings the inner into the outer, brings the spirit onto the matter. Yogi, what about the concept, we've heard about the concept of siddhi. I know it has a number of meanings, but what about siddhi powers? Is that part of the path you're on? Are they considered helpful? Yes, but let us distinguish between two types of siddhis. The first category requires arduous effort to achieve, but nonetheless we call this magic tricks. That is just child's play compared to the second category, which is much more profound, especially today. Go see a yogi on the path of Bhagavad Gita. See that person live in detachment and free from any pull for sense indulgence or material possession, despite living in a society where sense indulgence and consumerism are advertised as the ultimate way of living. That is the true state of yoga. That is a real superpower. That is a much more profound attainment. And look at the example it sets. Thank you so much for that clarification on the concept of siddhi. I wonder, though, for the sake of some of our viewers, some of them who may be new to yoga and spiritual practice and the idea that there is much more to the universe and life than just what we perceive with our senses. Could you give another example of a siddhi power? And I don't want to push you, but would you be open to that, sir? Let us say in your backyard you want to perform hatha yoga right in the spot where you have constructed the garden shed under the big oak tree. A common man would wonder how to move the shed, but a yogi would simply move the shed in consciousness. Namaste. Now you see, you perform the yoga class directly under the oak tree in the sun. At the conclusion of the class, wow! Thank you, sir. Yogi, we thank you. And viewers, we thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate.